Mr. McFarland, Rob Bradford, what's up?
All right. How we
What's
going on, guys?
We're great. We are, basking in the glory of no trades for the Patriots. That whole build-up.
Hey, we've lived that life, haven't we?
Yes,
we've lived that life.
But also, Bradfo, we have been kind of afterglowing a little bit since we haven't had a chance to talk to you. Easily one of the greatest Game 7s, if not one of the best postseason baseball games of all time this weekend.
Oh, my goodness. And being there was awesome.
Brag of the week.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll scream from the mountaintops. And not only that, but I stayed in a boutique hotel that was bizarrely sandwiched between the most popular college bar in all of University of Toronto, and on the other side of the hotel was a fraternity house.
Oh my God!
Hey, hello, kids.
Was this
hello,
old school?
Kids.
Old school? We're going streaking?
Oh my God! How watching that Pages catch live, was that just like, holy smokes?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that when he's hit it, okay, it's over. There was two moments where you had the Rojas play where he throws it, where he fights off the baseball and then somehow gets up and throws it a strike home. You're like, well, it's over then. It wasn't over then. The Pages catch, he demolishes his Kike. We thought it was over then. It was just like, it was incredible. And I said this, like the crowd there, I was driving away from Toronto, and I'm just like, I felt so bad for the people there, so bad. And I don't really care. I don't really feel that way. For the most part, I'm cruel that way. But those people, think about that. I mean, you had nobody on, one out in the ninth, one run up. You haven't had this experience since 1993, and then sad trombone, you're just going to have to bury yourself in a vat of Molson.
All right, Bradford, before we get into the preview of the offseason and Bregman and Story and Major League Baseball free agency, I need to ask you to interpret Tristan Casas' Instagram account. Let me just read it real quick. So he posted a photo 18 hours ago of him at Fenway Park. Looks like hitting a ball to the left field side of Fenway, maybe over the monster. And he writes, if we're going to have any chance at something decent, it's stuff like this that needs to be addressed. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible, ... within reason. No delusion, just normalizing the tough conversation. What are we talking about?
I think that the opportunity here is to maybe experience AI a little bit, whether it's understanding that there's a good possibility that Tristan Casas basically put this through AI and that's what came out, or if we said to AI, what did Tristan Casas mean by this, and it'll give us some sort of answer, because the human brain can't get around what he wrote here. I mean, my guess is that this whole idea of signing Pete Alonso and not even mentioning Tristan Casas in off-season sort of situations, maybe that was it. Don't count me out. But that was a very convoluted don't count me out Instagram post.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, do I have to talk to Grok or Gemini or somebody else to help me
I
make
think
sense
it's a
of this?
worthwhile exercise, though, isn't it? Can we do that? Can we just say, hey, what does this mean? If somebody writes this, what does this mean? And I'm sure it'll come up with something.
What about Wally? Wally once laid in the grass and looked up at the clouds with him, so maybe he has some insight into what the hell he's talking about.
There you go.
Too bad he
There you
can't
go.
talk.
So, Bradfo, Trevor Story opts in. He's going nowhere, staying for the final 2 years, 25 apiece like we thought, and you had said so during the season as well. But Bregmania is on the verge of being gone, baby, gone from Red Sox Nation. If you had to guess today, does he come back or is he gone?
My guess right now, which I didn't think I would ever say, is that I'm sort of leaning toward him not being here. And here's the reasoning behind it. Is that because, as you know, we pointed out, once you get the qualifying offer off of him, Scott Boras is screaming and yelling, I got the qualifying offer off him. Now we can play ball. Look at what I did with Matt Chapman. Same deal, same age. I got him the 6-year deal. And now if it's just Detroit, if it's just Kansas City, if it's just Houston, then sure. Like, I think the Red Sox would step up and probably sign him. But what's sitting there is the Philadelphias of the world, the Dodgers of the world, like those sort of things, which they get in the mix for this guy. Like, it's going to get uncomfortable. And are the Red Sox willing to get uncomfortable? Like, that's what it comes back to. Sure, they had a great offseason last year, but let's be honest, they played chicken with Bregman. And I don't think you can play chicken with him this time around. I think they played chicken with him already. The fact that they weren't talking with him throughout the course of the year, say, oh, yeah, you want to opt out of that $40 million? Okay, we'll see about that. Sure, okay, he did. And now it's going to, oh, you think you can get an offer out there? Well, we'll see about that. And I think he probably can. And I get it. Like, he didn't have a great year for his standards. And he's creeping up into the 30s. But I'll say it again, that you have Matt Chapman, that example was Scott Boras got that guy the kind of contract which probably Alex Bregman's looking for. And I don't know if the Red Sox will give him that. Like, they should probably, but I don't know if they will.
So, Bradfo, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 o'clock tomorrow is the start of official MLB free agency. Okay, so heading into that, what are your general thoughts on how it's going to go? Fast, slow, early, old school, new school, whatever. And then the Red Sox. We've sort of thrown around this idea that, well, if Bregman opted out, that's a $40 million slot. And Devers is gone. That's a $30 million slot. And Giolito's not on the books. Wow, there's like $100 million right there that they can spend. Realistically, how much money do they have to spend, and how aggressive will they be spending it?
Well, they have all that money to spend. It's just how aggressive you're going to be. And, I think that for those who say, well, they're cheap. Well, no, they're not cheap. And they did spend money last year, and they did sign these extensions. But I think the bigger issue, more than them spending the money, is how they are valuing the players. So are you valuing the player the right way? That's, to me, the biggest thing, not even close. And so you go into this offseason, I mean, I think that there's a very real possibility where, first of all, to answer your question, it is going to drag out. It always drags out. It stinks. Like, the one thing that I actually liked about the lockout was the deadlines of the doing these deals. That was awesome. But it's going to drag out, and I think that the Red Sox, like, they have to do what they did when it comes to the Crochet trade last year. Get uncomfortable. They have to do what they did, which, for some of these other players, you have to get uncomfortable, because there are very real scenarios here where you can get guys. I'll say it again. Like I told you guys, I didn't think they're going to get Pete Alonso. I probably think they still won't get Pete Alonso, but that doesn't mean I don't think Pete Alonso is a really, really good fit here. I mean, he is. He checks off a ton of boxes, just like Bregman did last year. So I think it's going to come down to, how does this front office value guys? Because keep in mind, there are people in that front office who didn't want Bregman, right? So it's not like we can say, well, this makes all the sense in the world. Pete Alonso makes all the sense in the world. Go get him. No, we can't say that, because they might be valuing different. All I know is this, that you should take the examples of the teams that have won, understand that it's really, really cool to win a World Series. It's really, really good for business to even be in a World Series. And to get there, you have to spend some money, and you have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, it'd be really cool also just to get a home playoff gate, because all 3 games were at Yankee Stadium, and the Sox didn't reap any benefits therein. Side note, Bradford, one of the guys that I was hoping might opt out that the Sox could pursue for a number 2 or number 3 starter, Jack Flaherty, who I was so impressed with in the postseason for the Tigers, opted back in, so there goes that dream. And as far as Pete Alonso, to me, it's too perfect a fit. He's a little younger than Bregman, and hits on average about 36, 37 home runs a year, a right-handed power hitter, and plays first base. Farewell, Casas. Hello, Green Monster. That's somebody that I'd be willing to invest in. But if you're sort of like crystal ball reading for the Sox, do you think they prioritize maximum assets on a power right-handed bat or a number 2 starter this offseason?
Oh, I think that you have to get some home runs somewhere, right? And you don't have to say see you later to Casas either. I mean, you can flip-flop those guys, first base, DH, whatever it is. And you're right. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense. And my fear is, he's not that good defensively. Well, you know what? Who else wasn't good defensively? Juan Soto. And I'm not saying that Pete Alonso is Juan Soto, but the point is that the most important thing is that you have to find ways to hit the ball out of the park. You have to find this guy plays almost. This guy plays. I was going to say almost in every game. No, every game he plays in, And so you have to get that element. You have to get that middle of the order, because what they landed with at the end of the year, that wasn't the sort of middle of the order that's going to get you anywhere. And I know Roman Anthony was out, but you have to find solutions. And Bregman might be another guy who dilutes that solution as well. And another thing, guys, that we should pay attention to is, let's not forget Rafael Devers, all right? Rafael Devers trade right now, great. Short term, you won. You made the playoffs. You did what Craig Breslow said you would. You won more games by doing the deal than maybe that you would if you kept him. But the whole payoff, let's not forget the payoff of Rafael Devers was the money. So if they do not spend the money, if they do not allocate the resource, then they should be held accountable for that. Because much like it was the case after the Nick Punto trade in 2012, this was the payoff. They spent the money there. They distributed around a million different places, but they spent the money. If they don't do it this time around, they should be called out, because Devers is still a good hitter. Devers is still a good player, and you are still searching for the replacement for Rafael Devers.
Bradford, before we let you go, when do we start hearing about the Joe Ryan trade talks heating up again, and when can I expect him to be at Fenway Park for his introductory press conference?
Well, you're going to hear the talk kick up next week at the GM meetings, which I will not be staying in a fraternity house there. But I mean, I may. Who knows? Just for fun.
Never know.
But it was. But yeah, that's a lot of people are going to be asking Derek Falvey, Lynn's own Derek Falvey, about Ryan there. Much like Chris Getz of Chicago was asked about Crochet at the GM meetings last year. So yeah, you're going to start hearing it kick up next week. But I think it's going to probably play along the lines of what the Crochet, that was around the winter meetings, early December. So, yeah, I think that to answer your question initially about which is more important, it's not that far. I said Pete Alonso, I said middle of the order hitter, but it's not that far off. I mean, one thing the postseason showed us is that you need lockdown starting pitchers as much as you can find, because ultimately when the rubber meets the road in late October, that's the thing that's going to win it for you. So, so let's keep the Joe Ryan fires burning, because I'm still all in on that.
Okay, before we sign it off, if there was one word you wanted to yell, what would it be?
That would be McFarland. What's the Canadian exchange rate on McFarland? I don't know what it is, but I was screaming it in Toronto, and it seemed to have double the effect.
And all those co-eds loved it, I'm sure.
I tell you what, nothing makes you feel younger than some good HVAC talk. I'm telling you. It's science.
All right, Bradford, we will be talking to you down the road when something happens. We appreciate you joining us.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you.
Baseball isn't boring, eh?